Hey guys, so today's video we'll be talking about what pilots make. This is a common question I get asked all the time. Very broad question, because I'm going to have to break it down in categories. The three main categories obviously being corporate or contract pilots, number two being charter, and then number three being commercial. A lot of factors come into this, but hopefully I can break it down within 10 minutes for y'all. If any other pilots watch this and they want to help out or throw out any other statements for some questions that are going to be asked in the comment section, feel free to do so below. Guys, if you have any other questions, make sure you comment, but hopefully this video can break it down within 10 minutes and give you a just idea of how much pilots really make. Okay, so first off, let's talk about the corporate side of aviation is what I do. And this is falling under Part 91 operations. And if you're like, what does Part 91 mean? If you don't know anything about aviation, I'm not going to get into every detail of all this, but just basically put it, the FAA categorizes us being corporate Part 91, charter being 135, and commercial being Part 121. That's basically the rules of what we can or cannot do. That's the best way I can summarize it. So you're like, how much does a corporate pilot make in just aviation in general? And it's going to be around $73,000. Now, this is dependent on so many different things, and I'm going to say this for every job in aviation, whether it's charter, commercial, or corporate. There's so many factors. That's why this is a hard video to do in within 10 minutes. So I'm going to try to explain as much as I can, but it's based off of seniority and also the company you work for or the type aircraft you fly. So there's a lot of factors. Those are just the three main ones I can list off the bat. But how long have you been there? How long have you been with the company? Or usually a good rule of thumb is the larger the aircraft, the more money the pilot makes, especially in the corporate side. That's just the best way I can summarize that. So for me personally, if you're like, I'm wondering how much I make, I'm not going to tell you how much I make on the dime, but I can make over six figures a year based on how much I fly. So that goes for all of our captains in our fleet. So we're Part 91. That means our passengers own the airplanes. We fly them around in their personal airplanes. We fly citation jets mostly. So I fly CJ1s and CJ2s. We also have a Meridian and a 340. But between all that, we have 9 airplanes. So we have 5 CJs, 2 CJ2s, 1 Meridian, 1 340. I mostly fly just the CJs and the CJ2s. And all of our captains make well over 6 figures a year, depending on how much we fly. We all get paid a day rate. Now you're like, can you get paid salary in a corporate side? Yes, absolutely. You can actually do both at the same time. I know several pilots that get paid salary to fly a certain type airplane, and then they also do contract work, day rate work on the side just to make extra money. So for us, like I said, we get paid day rate. We make over 6 figures if we fly that amount. I know a lot of other pilots that are on salary gigs that will make well over $130,000, $150,000 per year just on the salary alone. So I know one pilot makes, he flies a Gulfstream 650. He makes, I think, over $230,000 per year is what he kind of gave us the ballpark number. If you're smart, you never tell anybody what exactly you make. Less people know, the better off you are. But that's around what he probably makes. He probably makes more, honestly. It's a G650. It's a really, really nice aircraft. But I know a captain who flies a Citation Sovereign. He makes around $130,000 per year, as well as he flies a King Air and some other citations on the side. So you can imagine he probably makes around $190,000 to $200,000 per year. I have never known a pilot on the corporate side of aviation that is made under $100,000 because pilots are such a for a high demand, just supply and demand. People need pilots. So as much as these planes go out, they'll hire somebody just to sit, work radios until they get captain rated and fly left seat. So that kind of gives you a basic idea to summarize it. The average based on research is about $70,000 to $73,000, but mostly every corporate pilot that I've known is making over 6 figures a year. Okay, so next up, let's talk about the charter operations, which is going to be Part 135. And you're like, what's the difference between Part 135 and 91? I'm not going to go in the list of all of them. There's a lot of things, but the main thing is that Part 135, the companies own the airplanes, whereas Part 91, our passengers own the airplanes. Okay, so our passengers actually own the airplanes. We fly them in their personal planes, whereas Part 135, the company owns the plane and leases or rents them out to passengers. So a good example is Wheels Up. They are Part 135 charter operation. You've probably seen them on College Game Day Saturdays. They bring a celebrity guest picker. The celebrity gets off the plane and goes up on the panel to make football picks with everybody else. he does not, or he or she does not own the plane, the company Wheels Up owns that airplane and is letting him use it, if that makes sense. That's the difference between Part 135 and Part 91, or one of the main ones. If you're like, how much money does a charter operation or charter pilot make in that operation? It's going to be around $90,000 is the average for a charter pilot. Once again, that's based off of a lot of factors, and I have personally never known a charter pilot to make under 6 figures a year. I'm just being honest. I talk to a lot of pilots and all across the country, especially when we're sitting around in pilots lounges. Just like to ask them what they do, you know, what's kind of like their salary range, or you know, how much they fly, what's their schedule like. So a good idea for y'all, to give y'all a good idea, would be NetJets. NetJets is one of the most common or most well-known charter companies out there. Mostly any pilot that you talk to will know who NetJets are. They have a massive fleet, a lot of pilots. They have so many different planes. So an average NetJet pilot makes around $150,000 per year. Okay, that's a big jump from the $90,000 just broad average, right? $150,000 per year for NetJets, and then $200,000 per year average for a captain in NetJets. That's a lot of money. Just giving just the averages. And you can actually go to NetJet's website, and they've got their list, you know, rules and regulation, or what they're looking for pilots, how much they pay. And it's pretty nice. I mean, they require 1,500 hours of total flight time. That is a difference between, you know, our side, you know, for a corporate, especially for the planes we fly, you know, we don't require that. You know, we've known people to help us fly that have 350 total hours. So they require 1,500 total hours for theirs. And then also, like I said, it's based on seniority, how long you've been there. If you're captain or co-pilot, you know, are you flying the plane? Are you working radios? There's a lot of different factors into this. And so, like I said, you could make up to $200,000 with this company. But also, you got to remember their schedule. You're 7 days on, 7 days off. And I've talked to some pilots that work for NetJets. They said those 7 days on can be brutal, because you're going all over the place. You're flying multiple legs, you know, going from whatever, say Birmingham to Atlanta to Chicago all in one day. And then you're staying overnight. The good thing is that you really don't have to mess with your schedule, or mess with getting the hotels, getting food, all that, because you got a team that does it for you. But at the same time, you're not home a whole lot, so it's hard for people with families. So you're making a good amount of money. You can get that idea. And they also, what's cool about NetJets is they can make more money on top of their salary depending on how much they fly on that tour. And a tour being 7 days on, that's a tour. If they fly over 10 hours of total flight time in that tour, they make $148 per hour, per flight hour after that. So pretty good. You can tell they can make a lot of money, but it's a little tough on the scheduling. Okay, and obviously the last operation we'll talk about is Part 121, which is going to be commercial operations. These are going to be your big boys: Southwest, United, Delta. You know, everybody knows, you know, commercial. That's probably the most common question I get asked. You know, will I become a commercial pilot? How much do they make? You know, but yada yada. I love what I do, so I love the corporate side. But kind of telling y'all, how much does a commercial pilot make? Once again, wide variety of factors, but the national average is $131,000 per year. So this is the national average. So you remember, corporate is around 73,000. You jump up charters, getting around that 90,000 marker, and then you go to commercial, which is $130,000. So this depends on the company, you know, how long you've been with the company, are you captain rated. It's just, like I said, there's so many factors on this. And let's talk about Southwest. You know, everybody knows Southwest. I think the average pilot for Southwest, captain makes around $226,000 per year. That is the average for a captain, whereas I think a regular, just average Southwest pilot makes around $110,000. Based on research I could find, but a captain makes over $226,000 a year, up to $300,000, depending on how long they've been with the company, you know, how much they're flying. It's a salary-based job, but once again, you can make more money on top of the salary depending on some other variables. A lot of commercial pilots, though, that I've known really have not liked their job, though, because of the scheduling. You have to remember, you're on the bottom of the totem pole, so you have less pay, and then you're also working or flying a lot more. and you have to work your way up based on other people retiring. And you know, airlines obviously have a certain age they make people retire, but when you're on that bottom of the totem pole and you're gone all the time, it's tough if you are married and want to be back for it with your family. You're gone for several days at a time, sometimes weeks. It depends, you know, are you going across the world, are you going across the nation? There's a lot of factors in this. I've known a lot of pilots that have not enjoyed the commercial flying. That's why I wouldn't do it. I've known some others that have enjoyed it, but I've known a lot though that really did not want to do it anymore. It's great pay. Every one of them say the same thing. It's great pay, terrible scheduling. So I know a lot of pilots that are in commercial side, they want to go to cargo. So that's FedEx, UPS. They make a lot of money. They don't have to deal with passengers, and usually they're 5 days on, 2 days off. So you say Monday through Friday, normal schedule, you're back every night typically, and you can make over $300,000 a year depending on, you know, seniority, captain pay, and how long you've been there. I'm more impressed with FedEx and how they run their operation, how much those pilots do make. So they give you an idea. You're going to make a lot of money on the commercial side, but once again, the scheduling can be tough. So that's about it, guys. If I missed anything, any other pilots want to comment anything down low, you can, but that's just summarizing as best I can within 10 minutes. So you guys let me know what you would like to be if you are going to be a pilot, or if you're in it right now. If you want to do corporate, charter, or commercial side, please do your due diligence and do research on the company you're going to fly, or the planes you're going to fly, or how much money you will make, what your schedule will be like. Please do your research, okay? So if you like this video, guys, please smash thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.